Imagine for a moment that everything you struggle with, every fear, every self-doubt, every recurring pattern of failure or frustration, isn't merely an obstacle to overcome, but a map, a cryptic, shadowy map leading you not away from yourself, but deeper into the territory of who you truly are, toward a purpose you've perhaps only glimpsed in fleeting moments of clarity. Think about it. This sense that life happens to you, that external forces dictate your path, that some unseen hand orchestrates your triumphs and tragedies. What if this feeling of being pulled by destiny, this thing we label fate, is actually the echo of unheard parts of your own psyche, the silent directives of an inner world you've refused to explore? What if the key to understanding not just who you are, but what you're meant to do, lies buried within the very aspects of yourself you've learned to ignore, suppress, or deny? This isn't just a philosophical musing. It's an urgent question, knocking at the door of your awareness. Today, we don't just look at this shadow. We journey into it, exploring one of the most transformative concepts in the realms of psychology and philosophy, Carl Jung's profound theory of the shadow. Prepare yourself, for this exploration isn't just about abstract ideas. It's about uncovering the profound truths that hold the potential to reshape your entire existence. This phantom force, this inner cartographer of our perceived fate, Jung termed the shadow. It is the unconscious repository of the disowned, all the traits, desires, impulses, and aspects of our personality that we consciously or unconsciously deem unacceptable, shameful, or incompatible with the idealized image we present to the world, our persona. Why do we create this psychic underworld? From our earliest years, we absorb messages from family, culture, and society about what is good and bad, acceptable and unworthy. We learn to suppress anger, hide vulnerability, stifle unconventional creativity, or deny inconvenient desires to fit in, to be loved, to survive. As Jung, a pioneer of depth psychology, observed, this rejection doesn't make these aspects disappear. Instead, they are relegated to the darkness of the unconscious, forming the shadow self. Yet, paradoxically, this very shadow, teeming with what we fear and reject, contains not just our flaws, but the seeds of our greatest strengths, untapped potential, and the raw, vital energy needed for a fulfilling life. It operates beneath the surface, influencing our moods, driving our compulsions, shaping our reactions, and projecting itself onto the world around us, often in ways that leave us feeling baffled and powerless, attributing its influence to bad luck, or indeed, fate. But the shadow does not remain silent in its exile. Its influence manifests constantly, though often unrecognized. Have you ever felt an inexplicably strong, almost visceral reaction to someone? Intense irritation, unwarranted judgment, or even excessive admiration? Jung argued this is often the phenomenon of projection. When we haven't acknowledged a particular trait within ourselves, perhaps insecurity, arrogance, laziness, or even hidden brilliance, we unconsciously project it onto others. The world becomes a screen upon which our inner drama plays out. That colleague whose confidence grates on you might mirror your own suppressed ambition or insecurity. The person you judge harshly for their perceived weakness might reflect a vulnerability you refuse to accept in yourself. Everything that irritates us about others, Jung wrote, can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. These aren't mere psychological quirks. They are the shadow whispering, sometimes shouting for attention. Unresolved, these projections fuel conflict, create misunderstandings, and keep us locked in repetitive relationship dynamics. Furthermore, the energy expended in suppressing the shadow, in maintaining the facade, denying our truths, fighting our impulses, is immense. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The more force you apply, the more violently it resurfaces when your guard drops, often as disproportionate emotional outbursts, self-sabotaging behaviors, or pervasive sense of emptiness and inauthenticity. The very feeling that life lacks meaning or direction. This isn't just happening to you. It's the consequence of an inner division, a silent war waged within your own psyche. But what if there was another way? What if the path to freedom wasn't through further suppression or eradication, but through a radical act of courage, turning to face the darkness? This is the heart of Jung's concept of individuation, the lifelong process of becoming whole, of integrating the conscious and unconscious aspects of the self. It requires confronting the shadow, not as an enemy to be vanquished, but as a vital, albeit neglected part of your being. This isn't easy. It demands radical self-honesty, a willingness to look at yourself without filters or excuses, acknowledging the jealousy, the anger, the fear, the desires you've deemed unworthy. Think of the heroes in mythology, figures Jung studied extensively as archetypal representations of the human journey. Hercules had to face not just external monsters, but his own inner rage and flaws. Luke Skywalker confronted the darkness embodied by his father, but ultimately had to face the potential for darkness within himself before truly becoming a Jedi. Their trials mirror our own psychological journeys. We must descend into our personal underworld. Practical tools can aid this descent, paying attention to those disproportionate emotional triggers and asking, what part of me is reacting so strongly? Journaling honestly about dreams, fears, and judgments, giving the shadow a voice. Engaging in dialogue with the shadow aspects through active imagination or visualization, asking what they need, what they fear, what they are trying to protect you from. This is not about self-blame, but self-discovery. It's about reclaiming the energy bound up in suppression and integrating it, transforming lead into gold, as the alchemists would say. And here lies the ultimate truth, the most profound realization stemming from this journey into the depths. Integrating the shadow doesn't just transform the individual, it holds the potential to transform humanity itself. Jung believed that our personal unconscious is connected to a deeper layer, the collective unconscious, a shared pool of human experience, archetypes, and instincts. When you confront your own darkness, integrate your rejected parts, and move towards wholeness, you don't just heal yourself, you contribute to the healing of the collective. You stop projecting your unacknowledged fears and inadequacies onto others, reducing conflict and fostering empathy. You become more compassionate, understanding that the struggles you faced are not unique, but part of the shared human condition. Imagine a world where more people embraced their shadows, owning their flaws and strengths, their light and their dark. Conflicts would diminish, understanding would deepen, and humanity could move closer to a state of collective enlightenment. Jung famously stated, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This is the essence. Wholeness comes not from rejecting parts of ourselves, but from unity, from bringing all aspects of our being into conscious harmony. The shadow, that hidden, often feared part, isn't a curse. It's a gift waiting to be unwrapped. It holds the key to your authenticity, your creativity, your deepest potential, and ultimately, your true purpose. Your wounds can become your wisdom. The energy you once used to suppress can be redirected into creative pursuits, advocacy, or simply living with greater presence and vitality. By embracing your whole self, shadow included, you reclaim the energy spent hiding, allowing you to channel it into pursuits that align with your authentic being. Your purpose isn't just what you do, it's who you are. The unique tapestry woven from your strengths, passions, struggles, light and darkness. This integration is not a one-time event, but a lifelong journey. Each step, taken into the shadow, brings you closer to the person you're meant to be. A person of depth, purpose, and profound wholeness. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one where you embrace all of who you are and step boldly into the life you were truly meant to live. Look within. What is your shadow trying to teach you? How can you use its lessons to live more authentically? Starting today, the journey into the depths of your inner world awaits, holding the key not just to your destiny, but to a more conscious, connected, and compassionate world for all.